What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. Got a fantastic show for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, turn that notification bell on for Crain and Company. You guys are the best audience in the world. Got a great show, as I said, but first, David, Pete Rose, MLB hit king, passed away at 83. We lost him and Dikembe Mutombo, the NBA basketball player who passed away from brain cancer. But when it comes to Pete Rose, you know how I feel. He bet on his own team to win, which I know betting was illegal in baseball. I went on a tour when we went to the Reds game when I took my wife. We did the 1919 tour where, you know, they threw the World Series, basically attempted to do it, and those guys were banned for life. I just think there has to be some nuance here. I think Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame. I do think there is a difference in betting on your own team to win only. Not by a spread, but just betting on your own team to win, and that's what he did, unless I've, you know, just totally lost my mind. But is putting him in the Hall of Fame now, posthumously, is that a slap in the face?
Oh, well, that's a really good question. I mean, you guys know how I feel on the Hall of Fame situation as well, which is I'm all for an organization taking into account more than just athletic ability when it comes to honors and awards. At the same time, I don't know what Pete Rose did. I don't know what he didn't do. I wasn't alive then. I know he was a heck of a ball player. Mm-hmm. I did see a funny meme yesterday that said, MLB, rest in peace, Pete Rose, brought to you by Sports Betting 101, use code Pete Rose. I mean, it's just that part of it is kind of a slap in the face now that professional sports has changed so much. I did want to take, I mean, the day after he passed, I have to give a shout out to some of his statistics here. 17-time All-Star, 17-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champion, NL MVP, World Series MVP, NL Rookie of the Year. I didn't know he served in the Army even after that, joined the Army Reserves, 3-time NL batting champion. I mean, one of the greatest ball players, the quintessential baseball player.
And Blaine, they nicknamed him Charlie Hustle. I don't think anybody plays the way he played anymore. You really don't see it.
Yeah, I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. It's amazing. You get a lot more respect when you're dead. But I think about right now, you go back and look at NFL. If Calvin Ridley has the best 10 years and forward, do guys who get caught gambling in football who get suspended for what? A year. And then come back, can they be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I think so, right? So at the end of the day, did Pete Rose mess up? For sure, but I think real baseball purists and guys who knows baseball knows Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame. So I think he will be in there.
Hey, one more thing about the Charlie Hustle nickname. I was reading that he got it against the Yankees. Yep. I guess Whitey Ford gave him that name after he, 1, sprinted to first base after a walk, and 2, tried to jump the fence to rob a Mickey Mantle home run that went 100 feet over his head.
Yeah,
I love it.
The guy from an effort standpoint, I mean, you know, the iconic pictures of him sliding, you know, getting airborne, trying to make every single play, giving max effort. And look, Pete Rose wasn't a perfect person, and I'm not condoning gambling in sports, but again, I do think there's a nuance of you betting on your own team to win as opposed to betting on a team to beat your team, or even betting on your team to win by a certain amount of runs, right? I think that is ridiculous. And again, I wasn't there, I wasn't in the room, but everything I've seen and read was that he bet on his own team to win. And I think they could have done the right thing. But Major League Baseball, whenever they're presented with the chance to do the right thing or do the obvious thing, they don't do it. I don't think Barry Bonds and them should be in after using steroids. I think that's cheating. I think that's cheating 100%. But the fact that Pete Rose wasn't put in the Hall of Fame, in our era at least while he was alive, I think is absolutely ridiculous and utter BS in my opinion. But as we said, MLB hit king Pete Rose dead at age 83. South Carolina going to get their quarterback back. LaNorris Sellers expected to start against Ole Miss. We're going to preview that game. Tennessee going to Arkansas, Ohio State playing Iowa, and much more. I'm Jake Crain. It's a Tuesday here at Crain and Company. Lock in. Let's go. I've heard from a bunch of South Carolina fans that they feel disrespected. They see Kentucky getting all these accolades after playing a close game with Georgia and then beating Ole Miss last weekend after the Gamecocks clobbered them 31-6 a couple weeks ago. And I can get why you're a little upset, but if you want to get the respect that you feel like you deserve, you have to go win a big-time game. Hell, game day went to Columbia after you guys beat Kentucky. And say what you want about the officiating, it's been bad all through college football. South Carolina lost and missed a huge opportunity against LSU. But this weekend, with LaNorris Sellers returning, Beamer and the boys can take a huge step towards getting that big-time respect back against an Ole Miss team that's going to be pissed off after losing at home to the Wildcats. The time for almost is over in South Carolina. And after this game, you enter a brutal stretch going to Alabama, then to Oklahoma, and then hosting Texas A&M. You need the momentum and the confidence to do something that not many people thought outside of Columbia could be done. So no more words about how unfair the Kentucky love is. Go out and earn your accolades. It's kill or be killed out here. And a close mouth don't get fed in these SEC streets. I bring in David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain. David, if South Carolina wins this, the reason Kentucky is getting love is because they beat Ole Miss, and then people are going back and saying, oh, well, maybe the South Carolina game was an anomaly. They played Georgia really tight, who just played Alabama, obviously in a hell of a game this past weekend close, but you won the big-time game. If South Carolina beats Ole Miss this weekend at home, people are going to start saying, hey, maybe that LSU game was the anomaly. Not only did South Carolina beat Ole Miss, but they beat Kentucky 31-6. That's the way it works. So South Carolina is getting a second opportunity in front of the whole world in a game that Ole Miss has to have, in my opinion. I think it's a must-win because 10-2, I don't think Ole Miss gets in with their schedule if it's going to be compared to a couple other teams in the SEC that are 10-2. How do you feel about South Carolina and kind of how they're perceived?
Well, look, I think a lot of people around the country may be overlooking this game. I'll be honest with you, I'm really excited for this. And you talked a little bit about some of the implications here. Obviously, Ole Miss coming off of a loss to Kentucky, which just from an optics standpoint seems really surprising, especially with this Ole Miss team finally being in the top 6, top 5, the roster that they brought back. But then a South Carolina team that's only lost one game and really should be undefeated. I mean, they had LSU on the ropes at home. All the attention will be on LaNorris Sellers coming back, and not just him playing, but how effective will he be? Is he 95%? Is he 75%? There's going to be a big difference in those two things. But then on the Ole Miss side of things, you know, I think that a lot of the players in that locker room now realize, oh, wait, we had to do more than just show up, right? We had to do more than just assemble a nice roster and they were going to give us the trophy for the conference and automatically we'll be in the college football playoff. No, you have to go out every single week and stay focused. So Lane Kiffin has a great opportunity here to bounce back, win a big game on the road and say, hey, no, don't sell Ole Miss yet. But on the flip side of that, Shane Beamer, who also needs to put together a heck of a year, and he's doing that. This would be a seismic win for South Carolina.
It really would. And Blaine, I think David brings up a great point about LaNorris Sellers. I don't think him not being able to run is going to let South Carolina win this game if he is incapable of doing it. And it's not just the Q power, right? And the quarterback design runs. It's him making a guy miss, extending the play from outside of the pocket and keeping his eyes downfield. You want to know why they beat Kentucky? Because they won the scramble drill. That's why LaNorris was able to create and find guys when the play broke down. How do you feel about South Carolina right now? Do you think they have earned enough respect to be upset about this? And how do you see this game playing out?
I think so. I think what they did to Kentucky needs to be noted. They dismantled that team for 4 quarters. And you go back to that LSU game. Look, your quarterback went down, some questionable calls, but you had chances to win that game on defense. If you look at this game right now, we know one thing that LaNorris Sellers can do is run the football as a quarterback. From another perspective, you're going to have to put some sort of fear in this Ole Miss defense of throwing the ball, right? If not, they're going to load the box and make you do it. And I think LaNorris did well against LSU, not just the little things progressionally, but hitting big plays, right? They hit a lot of big plays against a team that you need to do that to. And another thing with South Carolina does have, which resembles Kentucky, they're damn good on defense, especially up front on the defensive line. And if you watch that Ole Miss game, Ole Miss got their ass kicked up front on the offensive line.
On both sides of the ball.
On both sides of the ball. I thought the D-line played better for Ole Miss than the offensive line.
I agree.
But we talk about Lane Kiffin, we talk about Josh Heupel, we talk about all these guys that with these high explosive offense, but what do they really want to do? They want to run the football, right? So if you're South Carolina, one, that's the first thing I'm taking away. Jackson Dart didn't prove it against me last week against Kentucky, that he can make the plays in the big moments. So right now, even with the young talent they have on South Carolina, I'm stopping the run and I'm focusing especially on Rocket Sanders to see how many times I can keep it out of this Ole Miss offense's hands and put it in our quarterback hands.
I agree with most everything you said. I will say on the Jackson Dart front, he was never, the offensive line was getting beat so badly. And getting beat on the offensive line isn't just, oh no, the guy got past me. It's I'm pass sitting, and David, you know this better than anybody, I'm getting pushed into the pocket, which messes everything up for the quarterback, not just your vision, but the timing. Not only the vision and the timing, but where you have to deliver the ball. I think some people think, oh, everybody just throws over the offensive line and the defensive line. No, you have to find windows to throw. And when you're giving up pressure in a quarterback's face, it changes the way the quarterback has to release the ball. Yeah, you can find a guy that's open. You can actually be on time and find a guy that's open. But if you can't deliver the pass in an area to get it to where he needs to be, he might as well not be open, and you have to look off of that and try and go somewhere else. So the offensive line, Jackson Dart does deserve some blame. The run game was not good against Ole Miss, for Ole Miss in that game. But the offensive line has to give him time to get on rhythm, get on rhyme, get him on time, and let him deliver the ball in a timely manner and in a way that lets this offense operate at the highest efficiency rate. And Dylan Stewart from South Carolina is not going to be an easier matchup from a pass rush standpoint than what you just saw. I don't think South Carolina is as heavy on the inside as what Kentucky does, because that's kind of Kentucky's secret piece. Their interior defensive linemen create a lot of havoc in between the B gap in the pass game as well, and it goes back to what I was saying. But there is no way in hell, David, that Ole Miss is going to go in this game unprepared like they were last week and think they're just going to show up. They're going to try and put their best foot forward. But Pete Golding has got to make adjustments in this game defensively. Kentucky was beating South Carolina on third and passing with basically the same thing. Like, I'm all for playing too high coverage and doing this and doing that, but at some point you have to adjust to what they're doing. People most of the time, and you heard Coach Guidry at Miami talking about this, they're not going to do what you're game planning for a lot of the time because they know you're game planning for it. We're at a point in the season where you can self-scout and find your own tendencies. So you're going to have to prepare for something different. And then if you stop the different thing you prepared for, guess what they're going to go back to? What you game planned for, because that's their bread and butter.
Well, it shouldn't take a loss for Ole Miss to go into a game prepared, right?
I agree with that.
And if you thought Brock Vandergriff gave you problems on the move and outside the pocket, well, a healthy LaNorris Sellers is gonna give you plenty more problems than that. One comment on you talking about offensive linemen and protecting the pocket, just from a quarterback perspective. You can tell a lot of offensive linemen, especially interior offensive linemen, after they've been getting beat time and time again in a game, they'll just continue to pass set further and further into the pocket, with the thinking being, well, as long as I keep backing up, the guy can't get by me. Well, from a quarterback perspective, you can only go so far back in the pocket, right? And so if you have the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman in your face, that doesn't really help. That's even more detrimental. So, a lot of times we have to tell those guys, I know you've been getting beat, but you cannot just continue to pass set back on.
Would you rather, as a quarterback, have a guy, an offensive lineman, take one kicks or two kicks back and totally whiff, which gives you time to see it and a little bit of width to make the guy miss, as opposed to him keep kicking back into you, which closes space, and it doesn't give you an out? I mean, to me, I would think I'd almost rather have the guy whiff.
Yeah, because that way you only have the defensive lineman in your face, and maybe you can make
instead
a move instead of both of them, because the offensive lineman is as tall as me but as big as him.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point. Blaine, another thing I haven't seen a lot of people talking about in this game is special teams. This is a game that could come down to Shane Beamer having one of those special teams moments. And Ole Miss isn't exactly killing it on special teams. I mean, if it comes down to a field goal, that Ole Miss kicker missed that field goal by half the foot.
Yeah, that wasn't close.
So whether it's a big return, whether it's a block punt, a block field goal, or just field position in general, special teams could decide this game.
Yeah, it's huge, especially when two teams kind of match up equally. Usually the third phase will be the difference. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some fakes from Beamer when it comes to this game. And, do you fake a field goal in this game? You think Beamer's got something up the sleeve? We saw it last week in Sam Pittman. And if you do it, Jake, you're the special teams guy here. Do you do it early? Not even a field goal, anything special teams, a momentum boost. Look, it's a double-edged sword when it comes to this stuff. This either can skyrocket momentum or can completely plunge.
Well, you always carry fakes into a game. I used to carry 2 field goal fakes and 2 punt fakes. Now, in my punt, it was a rolling rugby and it was a read, so you always had the run built in there.
That's not a fake.
But that's not a fake. Yeah. That's just a read mid-play. But I would always have 2 designed based on what I was getting. And I always had one that was against a safe look, because defenses never think you're faking it when they go safe. Yep. Hence why it's called safe, right? And that's more of a short yardage thing, right, where hey, they're going to get in this type of front. We're just going to block it like an offensive line would. But to me, it's all dictated on circumstance, because if we're doing well and we're leading and everything's working, I don't need to do anything extra, right? But if it's something that can change the game and there's a hole there that I've seen on film, I'm going to do it. But guys, when you go into a game all right, the special teams coordinator on the other side, or the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator, knows that head coach's background. And Shane Beamer's head coach's background, not only his background, his father's background, is being really good on special teams, being very smart and nuanced on special teams. So all week, if I'm Ole Miss's special teams coordinator, I am screaming to watch the fake. We'll probably actually go safe more times than not, even when it's not dictated, or have some sort of a safe look built into a return to make sure that we're forcing the punt, because I know this guy. I'm more worried about you blocking our punt. That's what worries me, because that's where Shane Beamer's really nasty. And South Carolina is at designing punt blocks. So we're going over protections. We're going over all the looks we can get, loopers, double returners, different things that you're going to see. So that's an element of this game that could decide it at the end of the day, and most of the times that it does.
What coach needs this win more?
This is tough because it's for two different reasons. You know, on the Shane Beamer front, if you lose this game and you look ahead at that brutal schedule, you could drop 4 games in a row. Now you're staring at 3 and 4, and it's tough sledding after what happened last year. Even though you did lose Spencer Rattler, you did lose Leggett. But if you're Lane Kiffin, I think this pretty much almost eliminates you from the playoff. You have to be perfect. You have to beat Georgia at home. And let's pull up the rest of Ole Miss's schedule real quick. Let's go through the rest of it.
I mean, Ole Miss isn't going to fire Lane Kiffin.
No, there's no chance of that happening.
Being eliminated from the playoffs with this roster,
this early,
that could jeopardize his future there, just in terms of, does he start looking for another job earlier? Is it easier to entice Lane Kiffin to leave Ole Miss if he's eliminated from the playoff when it's barely October?
I think so.
All right, let's go through the schedule. Obviously, you're at South Carolina this weekend. Then you're at LSU. You have Oklahoma at home. You're at Arkansas, Georgia at home, at Florida, and obviously the Egg Bowl to finish the season.
I think this is a must-win. The odds of you beating LSU on the road and Georgia at home if you lose this game, right, they aren't very good. I think, Ole Miss fans, do you feel like this is a must-win for you guys? I want to know in the chat.
Hey, quickly, what do you think about the 9 points right now? Spread opened at -10, Ole Miss. Now it's -9, 52.5 over on.
Why would I not buy it up to +10.5 South Carolina and put money on it? That's right.
South Carolina.
I would buy it.
What has Ole Miss proven to you against a good football team?
That they're 10 points better than them.
Oh, especially on the road?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I think maybe the thinking of that is, hey, Ole Miss is going to come back twice as hard now that they lost. Maybe there's that thought of.
That's why I like the over here.
You know, I don't think
South
that's.
Carolina is going to score.
I don't. What's it at?
52.5.
Okay, I don't mind that, but I don't hate the 9. If you want to just lay the 9 for South Carolina, it's over 7, so I'm fine with it. But if I was going to put it in a parlay, or I was going to put big money on it, I would buy that up to +10.5 just to give me a little extra insurance, right? Because the game's more likely to end in a 10-point frame than a 9-point frame with the way the scoring's divvied out in 3s, 4s, 6s, and 7s. But we want to know what you think in the chat, Ole Miss fans, or everybody in general. Is this a must-win for Ole Miss? And if you're going to the South Carolina game this weekend, right? Or maybe you're going to Fayetteville for the Tennessee-Arkansas game, or going to watch some murder that's going to happen in Athens. It's basically another episode of First 48 when Georgia plays the slump buster that is Auburn. You need to make sure that you are using the Game Time app. All right, they got the best deals. It's the best way to filter through all the BS to find the best tickets online. And their new feature called Game Time Picks helps getting tickets for your live event that much easier. Again, those filters, you can get straight to the point and find the best deal. Don't waste your time shopping other places, trying to get lucky, scalping or whatever. Download the Game Time app today. All right, create an account and use code BOOSTER, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Another great perk of their app is you're able to view your seat before you go sit down to know that it is what you want. And it's not just sports. I mean, we live in Nashville. There's concerts all the time. I'm telling you, these guys are a 5-tool player. Download the Game Time app. You go to your app store on your phone, download the app, create an account, and redeem your code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $20 off. Maybe you're surprising a loved one, taking them to the game. That's the best way to do it. Why not save money by doing it? Download the Game Time app today, create an account, use that code BOOSTER, get that extra money off. What time is it, fellas?
Game time, son.
Let's get to the chat. I'm ready to get busy with it.
All right, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. We're going to start the day off with someone of the name of Gritty Greg. What's up, brother? Says, can't wait to watch South Carolina win this game and see Lane in Gainesville. Go Gators.
It's actually and I agree with what kind of he is saying and what David is saying. Because think about it, if you're Lane Kiffin, it's just like life. It's all about leverage. And like I love Josh Pate. I know he thinks Lane would walk to Florida regardless. I just think trying to guess what Lane Kiffin is going to do is a big assumption. Just like with Harbaugh and some of these other guys, maybe you do know, maybe you don't. But I think trying to guess what he's going to do, but it's always about leverage. I was in the business. So if Lane Kiffin loses this game, the leverage isn't as much with him against Ole Miss, because now you've lost 2 games in the season that was supposed to be the big one, the next step, the anointed season with the team that could finally do it, and you didn't. The leverage would be with Florida, because Florida's trying to take you away from Ole Miss. So Lane would be able to leverage Florida more than he would Ole Miss. Not that Ole Miss wouldn't counter or try and keep him, but just the way it works, it is a business, right? And he would be way more attractive to Florida, and I think they would be willing to pay more, even though he lost, than Ole Miss saying, well, I mean, yeah, we love Lane Kiffin here. He's done great things. We still think he's going to do great things. But man, like, this was our shot. Like, this was the Frankenstein team that we put together to get us over the hump. I just think the leverage I would feel better about Florida if Lane Kiffin lost this game than if they won it.
Let's go to James. He says, what was beating Kentucky by 21 points other than us making a statement? I don't know how South Carolina is a dog plus 10.5 on the road. Give me that money.
Well, I don't think you're crazy for taking South Carolina as a dog at home. I don't think anybody's saying that. But you're telling me, so what you're telling me is that you think beating Kentucky, who's 3-2 overall right now, is a big statement, and that Kentucky beating a top 7 Ole Miss team on the road is not as big of a statement? Maybe in the mind of a fan of a team, I could see that working. But we're talking national perception here, right? Nobody is saying that Kentucky game wasn't a big win for you guys. There's not one person saying that. But if you're going to sit here and tell me your statement win on the year is over Kentucky in football, I'm not buying it to give you big time respect. Like I said, if you beat Ole Miss, now that Kentucky game looks even better. But your win over Ole Miss will still look better than the win over Kentucky. So sometimes you got to take the fan glasses off. And you may be right. Hell, I may pick South Carolina as a dog this weekend, David.
Plus 280.
Plus 280 right now on locks, leans, and dogs. I might do it. But let's not pretend like beating a 3-2 Kentucky team at home is a bigger statement than Kentucky beating a top 5 ranked Ole Miss team on the road. That's not the way this works. I think South Carolina's better than Kentucky, but that doesn't make it a bigger statement win.
Let's go to C. Dilly, 01. He said Ole Miss had 10 tackles for loss and 5 sacks. Their D-line definitely didn't get manhandled, but their O-line for sure did.
Well, it's what happened on third down when it mattered. What happened on the drives late in the game when it mattered? How many times did Brock Vandagriff take off in an important spot? How many times did he have enough time to throw that square in, to throw that dig? You know, first, there's a reason third down is called the money down. Go look at that stat line. That's what matters. First and second down matter, but not as much as third down and not as much as fourth down. So, yeah, there's a way to look through the stats and find something good. I mean, you see Auburn fans doing this right now. Man, we got a lot of yards. Wow, we blew the game at the end, but man, we got a lot of yards. It's a loss. This is a zero-sum game. You win or you lose. There is no in between. Nobody goes back and says, man, Billy Napier played a lot of close games. No, they look at your 1-11, 1-12 versus the top 25. That's what it looks like. That W or that L is the most important stat that there is.
Let's go to God Loves Comics. He says South Carolina finally gets ranked after beating, if they beat Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get knocked out by Bama. Cruel world. Absolutely cruel world.
That's what happens when you play in this league. All right, let's move on. The phone lines are going to open here at 2:45 p.m. Central, 1-855-236-3228. Want to get to as many calls as possible. What else we got on board?
All right, man, a Big Ten game I'm excited in. Nebraska 4-1 hosting Rutgers 4-0. Line opened at -6.5. It's still sitting there, 40.5 over/under.
You know, my first instinct is to take the under in this game, just because Nebraska's got some guys that can make plays on the outside. Nair, Banks, guys that can stretch you. But Greg Schiano's going to have a great plan. He's going to know how to, as much as you possibly can, confuse Dylan Raiola. And I think Rutgers can stop the run, right? And that's what Illinois did. Illinois stopped the run, and Dylan still made some plays, right? But asking Dylan, that's the formula you have to have with a young quarterback, regardless of how talented he is. You've got to take away the run game because the run game opens everything else for them. It makes everything else easier for them. What did Illinois do? They said, all right, we're going to stop the run, and we're going to make you make all the plays. And he's going to make some, and you'll see him make some. But can you make all of them? And then on the other side, Rutgers has the most underrated run game in the country, including the offensive line. Everybody talks about Monungai, right? And even Kaliakmanis, at quarterback. Mm-hmm. But they don't talk about the offensive line. Rutgers is pretty good on the offensive line, and Monungai makes them even better. And Nebraska kind of struggled against Illinois consistently to stop the run, even though Illinois was throwing to run the ball. So I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Will it be a 23-20 game that beats the over? You said it was 6.5 to Nebraska, right, at home. I would let that line kind of play out a little bit. What I would be interested to see if the over-under goes up or down. Does it get into the 30s? Does it move up to 41.5, possibly even 42.5? If it gets to 42.5, I would probably take the under in this game. But is this, we talked about Rutgers. We heard Kirk Herbstreit talk about this could be a sleeper playoff team. If Rutgers wins this game, guys, they move to what? 5-0, 6-0? This Rutgers team goes to 5-0 with a win on the road at Nebraska. You look at the rest of that schedule, you want to talk about not even a spoiler, but a team that could actually get a ticket to the dance, get that golden ticket to Wonka's factory. So this game, make no mistake, is going to come down to the run. Who can stop it? Because if Rutgers can't run the ball, their split bluff action does not work. They're going to give you a lot of split zone. They're going to give you some gap scheme and stuff like that. But if you watch that Virginia Tech game, they made a killing off of that bluff, off of split zone, and off of play action when they have a guy split the line of scrimmage. So if the run game shuts down, both of these offenses shut down. But I do think Dylan Raiola can score enough points if both run games are shut down for Nebraska to win this. So to me, that's the biggest key. You talk about a physical game.
Yeah.
This one, you better put the women and children to bed early because this one is going to be a fist fight.
I think. Every win Rutgers gets makes my 7-0 start for them look less and less crazy. I really like this Rutgers team for a lot of the reasons that I like the Arizona State team. Run the ball, physical, flying under the radar, no one really talking about them that much. I do think they'll have their hands full being on the road against Nebraska, especially after Nebraska lost that game against Illinois. But Rutgers plays a similar style of football as Illinois.
And
they've
Kentucky,
been in the Big Ten
a
longer.
little bit.
A little, yeah. Kentucky is a great comp,
but they're better offensively. Rutgers is better offensively.
Yeah, but I get the comp, and then if it gets a tight ball game late in the game, I keep going back mentally to the way Nebraska played that overtime. Remember we were talking about that was one of the worst overtime performance I've ever seen. So Blaine, how much is that in your mind if this game is late in the fourth quarter, or if this one even goes to overtime?
It's got to be there. And if it's me and I'm Rutgers, I'm not changing anything from a game plan standpoint. The thing about Rutgers, every Saturday they're going to be who they are. A Greg Schiano football team. We're going to run in at you, physical, and we're going to try and stop the run. If it's me, I'm putting everything in Raiola's hands. All right, everything in Raiola's hands. Look, does he make plays sometimes? True, but he will find a way to make a mistake, and that's what Rutgers want. And when you do that, Rutgers will capitalize and kill you for the entire game. Might be one of those games to where no one wins it, but someone's going to lose it, right?
Well, and to me, it's a 4-quarter game. It's a long game. But how both of these teams start, if somebody jumps out to a double-digit lead, like if Nebraska comes out and gets up 10-0 or 14-0, Rutgers may have to change a little bit of what they do and be more aggressive in the pass game. They're still going to feed Monungai. But when you look at the way both these teams are built, I think Nebraska's in a better spot to come back because I do think the throwing element and then being able to spread it out is a little bit better, even going against this Rutgers defense. But if somebody comes out and gets up double digits in this game, especially Nebraska, it's going to be very, very hard for Rutgers to do what Blaine said, right, and change who they are to be able to score points quickly and hit big plays. Because if you get down in this game, both of these teams with that new clock rule where it doesn't run after it's under 2 minutes going into half or the end of the game is going to be huge. And the way you beat Rutgers is the same way you beat any team. You make them dribble with their left. So I would not be surprised, David, if Nebraska wins the toss and takes the ball and then takes a shot early in this game to get up, get on the front foot, let that crowd get into it. I like Nebraska right now, but this is not a game I will bet unless that over-under starts going up or down increasingly, because this is probably going to be a 3 to 4 point game when it comes down to it.
All right, next one up here. Arkansas 3-2 coming off that loss to Texas A&M. They're going to host Tennessee 4-0, which this is the first time that we have seen Tennessee since that big win at Oklahoma. And the line on this one, it is at 13.5 right now, Tennessee, and the over-under is at 59.5.
Why would I not bet Tennessee in this game? Somebody tell me, well, either one of y'all two, tell me why I would not take Tennessee minus 13.5 right now. Blaine, you tell me. I'm not saying you're picking this, but tell me why I would not take Tennessee in this game. Yeah.
Coming off a bye.
It's tough, isn't it?
I mean, the only thing I could say,
Bobby Petrino puts up 45 points.
Yeah.
He ain't
I
throwing
don't think you're going to do that. I think you're about to probably play the best defense in the SEC.
Yeah.
Does Nico still have to prove it?
Yeah, I think
he still has to prove it, right? On the road, SEC game. I mean, you play Oklahoma, your defense won that football game. Nico still has to prove in the big moments, which I think he has a talent and the skill to do that, but I still have to see it on the field. I don't know why this game's 13.5. It's starting to worry me that something's
like it's low.
That I don't know that something's going on, that I don't know that's going to happen on a Saturday, but I don't know how you can watch Tennessee's performance throughout the year and watch Arkansas throughout the year and don't think Tennessee's going to walk here and cover that. To me, this is almost a 3-possession game.
It is. I think right now it's one of the best bets on the board because it's not at 14. I think it's going to end up being there. David, I'm looking and again, I hate it for Sam Pittman, but I think last week was truly the beginning of the end here with his tenure at Arkansas. And again, I hate to say that when you look at the rest of their schedule, they were able to survive against a bad Auburn team on the road, a team that kills themselves multiple times. But when you watch the way the offensive line has played and the way it's kind of regressing, and you go and watch that A&M game, what you're about to see, I don't care if it's at home, I don't care if it was in Sam Pittman's backyard at a barbecue drinking a cold beer. A&M is really good up front. This is a different level too, because I don't think Taylon Green can outrun these guys at Tennessee. Tennessee, it's not just physicality. These guys are flying around the field. And Taylon Green, and they're smart, has gotten beat up the last couple weeks, right? And he is not going to throw you to a win against a really good defense. He was able to kind of find it against Oklahoma State, bad defense. But look at the rest. Look at UAB. They were able to score some, but he struggled to throw the ball. Against Auburn, yeah, he closed his eyes and threw one deep that a guy beat somebody deep in a drop 8 coverage, but he didn't really throw the ball that well this game. I am not finding a way where even if Taylon Green throws the ball decent, that he's going to be able to run around enough and create enough against this. You're playing right into Tennessee's. The minute you run out of that pocket, you are playing right into their hands. And they can overwhelm you from inside the pocket. And then defensively, I think Arkansas has done some good things this year. Travis Williams, I think, has done a really good job. I wish, we find a way to get him back at Auburn, not just for his coaching, but for his recruiting. But I look at this Tennessee offense, and I think they are chomping at the bit after that Oklahoma game. Because, look, they're a team. They're a complete team. But there's something about saying, hey, let's slow up on the offense and let the defense win the game for us, that as an offensive guy, you want to get back out there and say, hey, guys, we want to show the defense we can win a game for us too, even when the defense is playing good. I want to go hang a crooked number up on these guys. I think Tennessee smells blood in the water on offense. I think this could be a weekend where Nico explodes, not just through the air, but with his legs. Everybody's going to talk about Taylon Green's ability to run. I think we may see Nico's ability to run on display here up until the point where they don't need to do it anymore, where they have a lead that they're safe with. It could be a great game. I'm rooting for a great game. But David, I think the offense wants to come out and make a statement, and I think they will. I like Tennessee big in this one to cover.
Well, you talk about statements. Tennessee went on the road to Oklahoma and made a statement, right? Not that just going and beating Oklahoma, was an incredible feat all by itself, but with all the emotions that were tied up in that, with Josh Heupel coming back, with a young quarterback, Nico, first true road game, that was one of the reasons that I had picked Oklahoma preseason to win that football game. I do think that was an incredible statement for them. And Josh Heupel in the locker room after seeing how he was getting a little bit emotional and his team giving him the the game ball. To me, Tennessee every week has an opportunity to go from, oh, wow, this is a really good team that has a good roster and they could potentially do something. They have a chance every week to go, no, we're going to make a statement each week and show that we're not going to do what Ole Miss just did. We're not going to go into a game unprepared. We're not going to go into a game as a 2-touchdown favorite and all of a sudden it's close late in the fourth and we lose it. We're going to be on the winning end of these games.
And two things to that point, David. Sometimes that's why going on the road helps. I've talked about this a lot. It narrows your focus. You are going into hostile territory, right? You know that it's just going to be you guys. And we have to play clean on the road to be able to win this game. And I was thinking the minute that last second ticked off the clock in that Ole Miss Kentucky game, how many times this week is Josh Heupel, when he's got the team up after practice, right? Everybody's on a knee, the trainers talked, the assistant coaches talked, then the head coach talks. How many times is he going to point to that Ole Miss Kentucky game and say, guys, it is not about Arkansas, just like it was not about Oklahoma, just like it was not about NC State or Kent State. It is about us. It is about us getting better at what we do and setting the tone to the team that we are playing because we are so good at what we do. Yes, we will scheme for them. Yes, you will get a scouting report that lets you know who makes their plays, what their tendencies are, hell, probably what they ate for dinner all week. But it is about us and its fundamentals of blocking, tackling, playing organized, violent, aggressive, and smart football. I think Tennessee puts their best foot forward this weekend, and going on the road sometimes helps.
Yep, no doubt. You want to go to the chat?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the big GBO. What's up, brother? Says, guys, I agree with it. I have Tennessee win this game, and I have Tennessee winning this game big. But let's flip this. How would Arkansas win this football game?
It's a great question. I think you would have to have a similar situation to what you saw in Oklahoma. It would have to be a low-scoring game. You may get this Tennessee defense a couple times, but I don't think you're getting to the 30s. It is a narrow path. Special teams, we talked about it. You're probably going to need to do something big on special teams. Even if it's hoping Tennessee misses a couple field goals, you have a couple big returns that don't have to score, but put your team into position. But without a doubt, the thing that you're going to have to do is find a way to run the ball with Taylor Green and Jaquindon Jackson. That's what you're going to have to do. Because if this turns into what y'all are living, Arkansas is living in a 3rd and 7 world, Taylor may be able to run for 1 or 2 of them, but it's going to get paid back on the other end, and you're going to find yourself having to punt to midfield and Tennessee getting a short field. So it starts with the run game, which opens up the pass game for Taylor Green. It gets guys more open. But again, it is such a narrow path that you have to hope the other team kind of loses the game a little bit, because I think that's how quality Tennessee.
Seems like they'd have to win the turnover battle by a factor of multiples.
Probably.
Like 2-0 or 3-1, and then in the red zone, score touchdowns every time you get in there.
And timely penalties. Maybe Tennessee, it's a big 70-yard touchdown, but there's a hold, right, that brings them back. You're going to have to catch a lot of breaks. Not that it's impossible, but it's going to be tough.
All right, let's go to Parker. He says, bro, Tennessee's defense didn't beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma's offense beat Oklahoma.
Well, they knocked Jackson Arnold out of the game.
Did you watch that game?
They knocked their starting quarterback out of the game.
Yeah, did you watch that game?
Not because he got hurt.
Yeah, like that was...
So let me ask you this question, Parker. Did Oklahoma dominate Tennessee's offense, or did Tennessee's offense dominate Tennessee's offense? Let me flip it on you. Because if you believe what you just said, then you have to agree that the Oklahoma defense really didn't do that good against Tennessee. It was just Tennessee not doing good. So those two things, you would have to believe that, right? If not, you're just being a fan. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that logic, you've got to continue that line of thinking. And if you do, then I just disagree with you on it. But at least stay consistent with it.
All right, let's go to the Halls. What's up, brother? He says, guys, will this be Sam Pittman's last year as the Arkansas football head coach?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Can we look at the rest of Arkansas's schedule?
God, I would love to. I can't wait.
After this, I'm sure it's not going to be a walk in the roses.
All right, let's go. You obviously have Tennessee this weekend. Prayers up. Then you got LSU at home next weekend.
Okay.
All right, then you go to Mississippi State. Hope.
Okay.
All right, then you got Ole Miss at home.
Okay.
You got Texas at home. You got Louisiana Tech at home.
Okay. Then
you're on the road against Drinking the boys in Missouri.
Yeah, I think this is it. If they lose this game this weekend, I think this is it. And again, I hate to say it because I like Coach Pittman. He's been great to us, but it's a business. It's a business. You're in the business of winning, and the amount of money that Arkansas is pumping into this program right now, and the lengths that they've gone to compete in the NIL space, you need to see results, right? I'm not going to spend all this money on an engine and not drive the car.
Let's go to the boss. He says Arkansas has the highest throwdown conversion percentage in the game. The highest.
Throwdown?
What's a throwdown conversion?
Like partying?
Were they fighting out there?
I don't know. It's either partying or fighting. Throwdown. Is you meant to put touchdown conversion? Maybe it's a red zone thing? I would be surprised if Arkansas has the best red zone percentage in the country.
Yeah, I'd have to see that.
All right, let's go to King M. What's up, brother? Says, right now, do you trust Nico and Tennessee on third downs? They've been good, but not great. And I think that's how Arkansas can stay in the game.
Yeah, the first thing you got to do is get them to third down. And what type of third down is it? Are we living in 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3? Or are we living in 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 9? Again, it's going to come down the leg part of it for both teams. But I think Nico, for this offense to continue to grow, has got to start using his legs more. It's almost like they've held him back a little bit in running because they want him to make it through the season. But I don't think you can continue to live that way as you get into this schedule and you're going to run into the Bamas and the Georgias. You'll see it more there. But maybe we get a little bit of a insight into, hey, it's 3rd and 7. Look, Nico, if they're going to bring 4, all right, let's get out at the gate a little bit and let's run and pick up some of these first downs. You don't got to sit here and dissect everybody. You're going to be more athletic than most of the guys on that defense. But all right, one more.
All right, let's go to Nate. Nate, what's up, brother? He says, is there any way you could catch Tennessee looking ahead for big games?
Not after what happened with Ole Miss. I just don't think so. I don't think this. Tennessee team
and the next team
like
the next team you would play would be Florida at home, and then obviously
coming off a bye week
match against Alabama.
I don't see it. I think this team is actually more mature than that. And look, Tennessee is trying to do something they hadn't done in a long time as well. Now, like this is again. That's why using the circumstances around you, like the Ole Miss Kentucky game, can be a weapon for Josh Heupel. And there's other examples of that around the country that we see literally every single week. So, no, I don't think they're going to be overlooking them. But I hope.
Excuse me. He didn't mean to put throw down. He meant to put third down.
Third down.
I know that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I do.
Now it makes sense.
Just again, that's great. Like, that's nice. But, look at your record. Look what happened. I think Tennessee's a little bit of a different flavor of ice cream that you're going to get this week on defense. All right. But speaking of flavor, it's a nice little segue there. We all know a lot of people are tailgating. A lot of people are cooking out, grilling out. Doesn't matter if it's for the game or if it's a Tuesday night, right? Or a Wednesday afternoon. You need to make sure you got the best meat in the game. That means you need to get the meat from the best people. And that's Good Ranchers. Their name may be Good Ranchers, but they are elite. I'm telling you guys, for 2.5 years, we've been using this product. My wife's actually making some honey sriracha chicken in the crock pot tonight from Good Ranchers, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. It's literally sitting in there bubbling.
What time y'all eating?
You want to come over?
I'll be there.
Probably around 5:30.
They eat exactly at 6:45.
You can come over there. I'm telling you guys, it's sourced here. You don't have to worry about it coming being imported. It's always delicious. You can always trust it. And, all right, right now they're having a presidential promo for a limited time. All right, you can get a free add-on for a whole 4 years. When you subscribe to any of their boxes, you decide, do I want extra plain chicken breast, Angus ground beef, Applewood smoked bacon, or wild-caught salmon in every order for 4 years? And when you go to goodranchers.com and you use our code BOOSTER, you get an additional $25 off your first box. All right, that's over $1,200 in savings total with the add-on, and you can bring 100% American meat to your family. Trust us on this one. Try it one time. Just try it once if you hadn't. And you will see exactly what we mean. That's goodranchers.com. Use promo code BOOSTER. Get that extra money off. Goodranchers.com. American meat delivered. All right, David, we got one more preview before we move on?
Let's do it. Buckeyes 4-0 against the Hawkeyes 3-1. This one's in Columbus. Line is 20.5 right now, over under 44.5.
Ohio State, right? Like, do we trust Iowa to score against this defense even with...
Did anybody watch the Iowa-Minnesota game? I didn't get to.
You were talking about that one, weren't you?
How did they score 31 points? What's going on?
Well, look, Cade can do some things. He's better than Petrus, but this Ohio State defense is basically an NFL team that's running around. I'm just not... Iowa's only hope is to run and hide in this game. That's their only hope. Now, the one thing, David, and we've talked about this, and the reason why I'm not one of these people that wants to put Ohio State number one in the country right now, is I'm still having some trouble trusting that offensive line. But is this Iowa defense the one we're used to seeing this year? When you kind of look at the way that it's gone for them, maybe this is neither one of these teams are as great as what we thought we would be at. I think Ohio State at home, coming off a confidence builder against Michigan State on the road, do they get past the 20 mark? That's the question, I think, here. Or will time run out on them with like a 17-point lead? I don't know. This is a tough one because what's the over-under? Do we have it here?
It's 44.5, but Buckeyes are favored by 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they don't think.
Damn, Kate,
they don't think
for 60 yards against Minnesota.
It hasn't.
Hey, that's a winning strategy in the Big Ten. Been seeing Michigan.
Yeah, and if you have Michigan's defense, yeah, I get it.
Man, the Buckeyes just have problems everywhere. And it's not a new thing. I mean, they've always had, but it's just like there are problems everywhere. So if you take one thing away, I mean, even the two-headed monster at running back right now, both the guys are starting running backs on any other team in the country. Like, I don't know. For Iowa to win, it feels like they'd have to make it kind of like Notre Dame did last year against the Buckeyes, where it's like a 17-14 type game.
Can the defense for Iowa, I don't think Iowa's offense is going to be able to move the ball to score more than 17 points. Like, is this just, can the defense and special teams for Iowa do enough to keep them around in the game long enough to have a chance?
I guess there is one more thing to consider here. The Buckeyes non-conference so far has been an absolute joke. We just saw Ole Miss coming off that so far and then got beat by Kentucky. And I've been thinking about this a lot as it relates to Clemson. Just imagine if Clemson had opened up against South Carolina State instead of Georgia and whipped them by 55, which they would have. We'd be saying they're a top 4 or top 5 team right now because we wouldn't have seen it. This will be the best team that the Buckeyes have faced. So whether they go out and they win this thing by 30 or they win it by 3, I do think that can be telling how they go for the rest of the year.
Without a doubt. And I want to see Will Howard, if he gets the opportunity to push the ball down the field, which, again, if I'm Iowa and I'm the defensive coordinator at Iowa, how do you not just say, we're going to load up and stop the run, even though you got Jeremiah Smith and Igbuka and some of these guys around there, and say, Will Howard beat me through the air? He can, and he probably would, but I think that'd be a lot better than saying, no, we're going to go even box or a light box. At first, they may go even box and say, hey, can we just stop these guys playing straight up? Can we stop playing straight up? Maybe they'll come out like they did against Akron, right? Or come out like they did against Marshall, and we'll get some confidence. They can string this bad boy along. It's just at some point you're going to have to take something away. But to your point, Ohio State has so much to take away. What do you take away? That's going to be the question here. I think Ohio State finds a way to cover this
big game. And the week after this for Ohio State, can't be looking ahead. You have Oregon on the road, which is not just going to be a walk in the park. But what you said, Jake, you have to take something away, right? If there's anything in this game I want to get beat by, Will Howard's going to have to prove it to me.
Yeah.
I know about Henderson, a running back. I know about Quinshawn from Ole Miss. I know they can do it with the offensive line. Sooner or later, you know what? You transfer from somewhere, beat me.
Yeah.
Beat me.
I agree with
You're going to have to beat me. That's how I would approach it.
I'm going to beat you. I don't even think it's dribbling with their left hand because Ohio State can throw the ball, but, you're going to have to beat me driving to the basket. Like, that's what I'm going to have to see. Like, it's just, it is what it is there. All right, the phone lines are open right now. Want to get quickly to the best and worst and the huddle up before we get to call-ins, David. Let's go to the NFL quickly. Going to get back to the chat, too. Blaine, what was your best from the NFL after this weekend?
The Ravens, and specifically Derrick Henry. How did you get faster?
Yeah.
How are you getting older and getting better at the same time? Derrick Henry looked fresh. Trust me, the guy on his fantasy team. The Ravens got everything they wanted in that game. You got to remember this, Mark Andrews is not even a factor for them anymore. I mean, if you have Mark Andrews in fantasy, look, I'm sorry, but right now the two-headed monster in Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson is paying off. Zay Jones at receiver, Bateman at receiver, the pieces. And I mean, your defense is absolutely balling. So right now, Ravens, just absolutely, Derrick Henry specifically. And my worst, I'll put Will Levis. Even in a win, Will Levis has looked terrible. All I heard last year was, Will Levis this.
Not for me. I tried to tell everybody.
Will Levis this. And we both sat here and said it. We watched him play at Kentucky. I watched Wan'Dale Robertson save this man's life. Save this man's life. And now you're seeing it. Even a 31-16 win, Will's making the same mistakes. Keep doing it outrageous.
Mason Rudolph came in the game. They started moving the ball.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if Mason's going to be the starter throughout.
How could he not be the starter after that? There's a reason Will Levis sat on draft day and waited and waited and waited. Not because he couldn't be a good player, but to Blaine's point, y'all thought a man that puts mayonnaise in his coffee and eats the peel on the banana is not going to make crazy decisions? Like, you can't do the things he does. And he didn't even see that guy threw the pick to last night.
Nope.
And then he got hurt. I'm just wondering, is this going to be Mason Rudolph's team? From I think it's been 1,002 days since the Titans scored over 30 points or more. Good, and that just shows you how bad the Dolphins are, too, now. Let's not act like the Dolphins are some, sturdy franchise right now that's doing great. My best is a guy that I begged them to take him over Caleb Williams, and that's Jaden Daniels. I mean, we talked about him winning the NFL Rookie of the Year. I know we're only 4 games in, and there's a long way to go. But his MVP odds are starting to go up. They scored on 16 straight drives, I think. Not touchdown, but scored on 16 straight drives. He has translated to the NFL beautifully. What was the biggest worry we had, David? That he wouldn't be a smart runner from a health standpoint. He's fixed that. The slide may be ugly, but at least you're sliding. Look, I'm not going to ask you to be perfect when you get down. Just get down. He's able to layer the ball. He makes good decisions. And he's so fast, and it's long speed, it's medium speed, and it's short speed. He's really, really good laterally, like I talked about. Also got to shout out the Vikings. They're the BYU of the NFL season.
That's a good way to put it.
Not just because they have a bunch of 28-year-olds running around on their team, but Sam Darnold's been incredible. They went up to Green Bay, got a big win against a rival when Jordan Love came back. I mean, jumped out 28-0, almost gave it up. But what O'Connell is doing right now it's just a masterclass. And you had 2 coaches that I think are having a masterclass year in LaFleur and O'Connell in that rivalry matchup between the Vikings and the Packers. My worst is the Jags. Bro, I tried to tell y'all about Trevor Lawrence, dog. I tried, sat here and said it. Y'all gave, what is this man? The closer he gets to the end zone, he turns into Panic and Skywalker. And I don't think he's the worst quarterback, but he isn't worth what y'all are paying him. And Doug Peterson, I think he's gone. I mean, I think he's gone. Trevor Lawrence ain't the answer. And the Jags got other problems. I'm not just blaming Trevor. But y'all dropped the bag on him because the market forced y'all to do it. And I don't see it with the guy. Because when he gets in the red zone, he makes awful decisions, David. So that's my best and worst.
The Vikings are the BYU of the NFL. That's the most apt comparison of Week 6. But my best, Jared Goff. This is the easiest best of the entire NFL season. 18 for 18. I'm so proud of this guy, man. Jared Goff, if you're listening to this, I am so proud of you. Number 1 overall pick in Los Angeles. Sean McVay comes in and says, look, I don't think we can win a Super Bowl with this guy. They trade him away for the Lions' greatest quarterback in franchise history, Matt Stafford, and that decision gets validated by Stafford coming in, winning a Super Bowl, and now look at these 2 franchises. Look where the Lions are right now. First playoff appearance in over 30 years, so much momentum, so much excitement, and on the offense, this guy goes 18 for 18. After getting traded, took all of that on the chin, at least publicly. No complaints, took that like a man. He goes 18 of 18 for last night, and here's how you know he's playing well. Dan Campbell, in the post-game press conference, didn't even know he had a perfect game, 18 for 18. He said, I accidentally gave the game ball to somebody else. That's how you know you're just going about your business. 18 of 18, 292, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 42-29 win over the Seahawks.
What was his QB rating? Like, it has to be the best it can be, right?
155.8.
Oh, God.
Just going to work. Just a Monday at work,
numbers.
Jared Goff. I love this Lions team, man. I'm just telling you. And my worst, the Dolphins quarterback situation, I know I've already done this once this year. This is the second time. But with Tua out, it does validate a little bit that Tua is a good NFL quarterback. Because there's so many people who say, man, that system with Mike McDaniel, anybody can just go in there and play quarterback and throw the ball to Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Well, look at him last night.
Yeah.
Look at him the last couple weeks. So I understand that maybe Tua is not the future because he can't stay healthy. That's something we talk about all the time.
That's a totally different
But, man, it just shows you can't just throw anybody out.
And it's not on Tyler Huntley.
Games.
I don't blame Tyler Huntley. They signed you like the week before.
Yeah.
That's what made what Josh Dobbs did for the Vikings last year so impressive.
He didn't know the offensive line.
He didn't even know but he's also a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
It's like if anybody's
I
going to be
still
able
think
to
he's
figure
part
that
of the Men in Black. Like
I
he
agree
saw his
with you.
parents. Like he knows something we don't.
When the NFL is your side
I don't think he
job.
was. I don't think
Right now, Josh Dobbs is floating in a cube somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think he was born here. I think he landed here. That's what I.
And I
think.
wouldn't be surprised if they gave the game ball to David Montgomery because he was killing.
Yeah, he was. I had him as a first.
Killing.
I had him as a first touchdown scorer with Calvin Ridley.
Well, I have Jahmyr Gibbs on my fantasy team. So this giving the ball to Montgomery at the goal.
Hey, Jahmyr got his though.
He did.
Stop.
But it didn't help me win.
Trade him. I have David Montgomery on my fantasy.
It may be too early to say this, but is Jahmyr Gibbs what people thought Bijan Robinson was going to be?
Bijan is still good.
No, I'm not saying Bijan's not good.
Jahmyr Gibbs walked in a lot better situation. I don't know
now.
Up front on the offensive line, top 3.
Oh, I like
top
those.
3, and they're all like 13 years old.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's get to Huddle Up. Then we're going to get to the phones and the chat. This week's Huddle Up with David Cone. Get in here.
All right, huddle up, everybody. Let's get an 11 personnel and go gun, doubles left, Linda scan, All hook, X go. This was the touchdown of the weekend. Jalen Milroe to Ryan Williams for a 75-yard Alabama touchdown. And let's break it down in the context of the game. Alabama thoroughly dominating Georgia for most of the night. Offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan had an incredible game plan. Georgia had no answer. All of a sudden in the second half, they start to chip away, and now they find themselves with a lead after a shot play of their own. So this is the first play after Alabama is trailing. 1st and 10. We've been getting free release for most of the night. So Bama comes out in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, and we got some hook routes underneath. Sheridan giving Milroe some options here. Hey, if you get soft zone coverage, let's start the drive off with an easy pitch and catch. But he also builds in Ryan Williams on a vertical route, X go, so that Jalen has some man beater options built into this play. It ends up being an identical play to Michigan and USC last week, except Georgia is in man coverage here. Looks like some sort of man free with an odd front, 2 spies. I talked for 2 straight weeks about how risky it is to play man coverage against Jalen Milroe. 1, because of how well he throws the vertical ball, but 2, his ability to escape the pocket when defenders get their back turn. So pause it right here at the snap. Jalen Milroe eyes down this free safety. There's no width. There's no expansion. It's one-on-one on the outside. You might as well call this play Ryan Williams go deep. And from there, that's a playmaking ability that you just can't teach. You can't coach. You can't look down on a play sheet and call that. What a response for Alabama after finding themselves in a deficit. This is 11 personnel, gun doubles left, Linda scan, all hook, X go.
David, great.
Yeah, Coney. Wow. Yeah, Coney.
Great stuff. I think Jalen Milroe, like you said, made his mind up when this play was called, because you got that go attached to it, that even if the safety is over there, like, because some guys would see the safety over there and not even look to that side, right? They would say, all right, the numbers dictate I need to look to the other side, depending on where that safety is, or I'm not going to throw the go, because he's given a vertical release and that safety has to be in the sky. The minute that safety did not move, he knew Ryan Williams was going to win the release. But to me, the significant part about that is, and this is, I think, another difference in Alabama and some other teams, is that he was going to try and get the ball. This tells you who he thinks the best, probably offensive player is on Alabama. And he's 17 years old. I'm talking about Jalen Milroe. I think this play was called, and the minute it was called, he was like, you're going to have to make me not get this ball to Ryan Williams deep. I don't care if he's covered by 1 guy. If 2 guys are on him, I'll work somewhere else. If that safety would have got a ton of depth and it would have been like, all right, they're somehow bracketing Ryan Williams, or he's just shading in the sky to where they think they're the most vulnerable, or where Alabama's best wide receivers are. But I think this speaks volumes about the confidence that they have in Ryan Williams. And guess what? They were right. I say this all the time. A lot of winning in locker room is a DNA thing. You have some people that find ways to lose games. You have some people that find ways to win games. And when it came down to, and this is what I was talking about with the mental toughness, Alabama giving up that huge lead, the first thought in Jalen Milroe's mind was, how do I get the ball to the 17-year-old? And I think that speaks volumes about how good Ryan Williams really is.
So I talked to Sheridan a little bit after the game, and the Ryan Williams go deep line came straight from him. And I talked to you guys both about this play because it's obviously not 4 verticals. Sometimes you can have 4 verticals out of this concept, and you have reads built off that. So if there's a safety over the top or your defender is over the top, you just break that off and it becomes a read. I know it's not, because it's one-on-one on the backside too, just like we saw in that USC LSU play, but he breaks his off as a hook also. He doesn't keep going over the top. It's like they bracketed the inside guys, but not the biggest threat on the outside.
And that's what surprised me, because if I'm Georgia in the coverage that they're in, if I'm that safety, I'm realizing at the point, hey, this guy broke it up. And I can realize this as I get depth, because I know somebody's covering that inside guy underneath. And if I need to pick up, right, if I can see the guy as I'm getting depth to try and get Jalen Milroe off of Ryan Williams, once that guy breaks and turns in a hook, I know my guy's got him locked up. I can turn and run and help on the vertical ball. To me, David, it's just like when a safety, when somebody is trying to get you on a dig with the post combination, right, where the inside guy runs a dig, and let's say you're in quarters, right, and the outside guy runs a post. So 1 runs a post, 2 runs a dig. Well, yes, as a safety, I need to drive on the dig. All right, I know that 2 past a certain amount of yards, 10 yards, it's going to be my responsibility. But if he breaks that dig off and I see that linebacker is in that window, or my guy, let's say 2 runs a drag instead of a dig, I can now help number 1 and my corner on the post. The safety chose, like you said, help the wrong guy. Where's the threat?
Yeah.
The threat is not even if you're saying bracket the slot, bracket the slot, bracket the slot, the minute he breaks that hook off, the football player in me goes, oh, hell no. I'm going to get the vertical. Because I can see the quarterback too. I'm reading Q to 2 through the quarterback. I can see him load up. Oh, boy's not loading up to throw the hook. They're taking a shot. So I think you're right. You doubled the wrong guy. Wrong kid died.
Yeah, Blaine, one of the things I was really thinking after I saw this play multiple times after the fact is this isn't just Jalen Milroe panicking because Georgia just scored to take the lead, saying, oh, well, we have to throw it deep now too so that we get the lead back because we're going to have this incredible loss after we were leading for most of the game. This is him getting the ball to his playmaker that's only set up because of how efficient he was with the intermediate throw throughout the game.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, in the week prior, can Jalen make the easy things look easy because he can do the hard things and make those look easy? But this, to me, is trust, right? This is a guy trusting a 17-year-old kid. They didn't win this game because of this play. They won this game because of practice, right? They won this game because of camp. This isn't the first time. I guaranteed if it was tagged or whatever it was,
team
they
drill.
looked at each other probably before this play. They probably looked right at each other before this play. And whatever we used to call this, we had a guy in high school that was faster than anybody, right? And if there was one-on-one anytime, we'd do this.
Well, you see,
we call blue lights.
Yeah.
All right, because you always run faster when the cops are chasing you.
Oh, God.
All right, so we'd call blue lights, and the next thing you know, he's gone.
well, it's like in basketball. There's some guys that even if they're covered, you know who's taking the shot. Like late in the game, like that's what I'm saying. Like even you see the clip from the Air, the Nike movie, when Matt Damon's like, I found the one guy we need to sponsor. Like they got this All-American down here. They use him as a decoy because they want this freshman to take the shot. What does that say? They wanted Ryan Williams to take the shot.
What was that guy's name?
Michael Jordan. Yeah. And guess what? He took the shot. And guess what? That SOB went in. Nothing but net. He didn't even spin you. He half spun you. So let's get to calls on that.
Great huddle up, Doug.
All right, thank you, man. Let's go to Ian in Kentucky. Ian, what's going on?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Ian, what's up?
All right, I got a little conversation piece for you. What if Tim Tebow coached the Florida Gators next year?
I mean, what if Moses coached the Florida?
Yeah, Tim. I don't think Tim wants that. If I'm Tim, that legacy is cemented. I didn't got to
like
go.
Scott Frost.
And I will say, he's doing way more important things than football. Like he's trying to stop human trafficking and doing things that his passion. He loves football, I'm sure. And again, I'm not trying to act like I'm Tim Tebow, but I think his passion. I think there's a better chance he ends up getting elected to Congress than coaching at Florida. That's what I think.
You think Lane Kiffin's going to be the guy down there?
You know, I actually like Kurt Signetti more than Lane Kiffin personally. I just think that Signetti really brings this I guess, aura that you really like as a Gator fan, like kind of like a younger Spurrier, but also, you know, he's got his act together, and I really like that, and I think he has a bright future.
Smoking that Signetti pack.
Like,
he's
just goofy to me, dude.
Hey, he wins. Google
I know. Look,
I wish Auburn was goofy.
Look, winning games will make you the best fit no matter. For some reason, in my head, I can't see Signetti at Florida.
Yeah, well, you're going to see it.
Yeah,
you're going to see it somewhere.
Hey, good question, Ian.
Good call, Ian.
Thanks, brother. All right, let's go to Christopher in Oklahoma. Christopher, what's going on?
Hey, guys.
What's up?
I wanted to talk about the Red River rivalry game, and then I got 3 upsets this weekend that I wanted to tell you about.
All right,
let's
go
do
ahead.
it. I got Auburn winning, South Carolina winning,
Okay.
and I also got Arkansas beating Tennessee.
Oh my God! If that happens, you're gonna have to start walking around with a crystal ball and a one of those psychic
You have to
outfits.
move to Guatemala. Dog.
Yeah, they're gonna come get you. But what's your question about the Red River rivalry? That's so hard to say. It's a shootout, actually. But
I like how Texas is playing, but I watched the Oklahoma game last Saturday.
yeah, unfortunately, me
and
too.
I didn't I think J.J. Hester and Michael Hawkins still very good. If OU's defense can get after the quarterback a couple of times and sack them, I think J.J. Hester and Michael Hawkins are the key to the game. And maybe if the Sooners can get healthy before the Red River rivalry game, I think they got a shot to keep it close.
Gotcha. Well, Chris, I tell you what, we're going to have a humongous breakdown, all right, on the Red River shootout here coming up soon. Make sure you check that out, buddy. Thanks for your
Great call, Chris.
Man, if he
Great call, bud.
All right, let's go to Dwayne right here in Tennessee. Dwayne, talk to us.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, man?
Hey, I just wanted to talk about Pete passing away and everything.
Yeah.
I actually got to watch him play as a kid growing up, and there's not a player out there that I wanted to be an Atlanta Brave more than Pete Rose.
I know.
and that never happened. But you asked the question about if it would be wrong for them to induct him into the Hall of Fame now, and I think it would be probably one of the biggest slap in the faces. And here's why. The fans and his family, they don't need the people at Cooperstown to say, hey, he was a Hall of Fame player. He was one of the greats to ever play the game. They know that. Getting inducted into a Hall of Fame, it's more for the player.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that he put in all that hard work and he was one of the best to ever play the game. And if you ain't got the decency to give it to him so he can enjoy that recognition, then don't do it now.
Yeah.
If I'm his family and they offer that up, it's
I would have torched him in the media. If I was a member of his family, I would have torched him in the media after a couple of days after his passing. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I'd want nothing to do with him. And it's not just on the commissioner now, who's an absolute clown car of a person, but the guys before him. It's just, it's stupid.
What would Pete want?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't give it. It don't matter what everybody else.
Well, I think Pete wanted to get inducted when he was alive.
I know, but I still think he'd want to be inducted when he's dead.
Well, like I said, right now, to me, it's just for fans and family, and we all knew he was a Hall of Famer. We don't need them to tell us he is.
It's a crazy conversation, Dwayne. But thanks for calling in.
I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah,
though.
that's a good perspective.
Thanks, Dwayne.
For sure.
See you, man. All right, let's go to Christian in Mississippi. Christian, talk to us.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
What's up,
man?
Hey, I just wanted to ask if y'all thought this year's Ole Miss was any different from 2022, because Ole Miss fans, we all know, back in 22, we were all hyped up. They're 5-6-0, and then the same song and dance, they crashed. Turned out they're a big paper tiger. Do y'all think they have the capacity to go farther than they did that year, or what's
I
y'all's
do.
thoughts?
I do, because I think you guys got more depth. And again, I know against Kentucky it was ugly, but I don't know, and I'm trying to think of the best way to say this and not disrespect Kentucky. I think that was more about the mindset than the personnel. I think Ole Miss has the personnel to be able to fix it, as opposed to, playing against a schedule that's not that tough. You can hide not being as good personnel-wise as what people think. I've just seen too much of the guys that Ole Miss has on this team. That's not saying they'll turn it around. That's not even saying they'll beat South Carolina this weekend. But I do think this team has more potential from a personnel standpoint, from a depth standpoint, and from a team balance standpoint, honestly.
I think,
to be able to turn it around.
I think two things can be true at once. I think that can be true, and I think Kentucky's a better football team than a lot of people thought. You just beat Ole Miss on the road. It was a top 10 football team, and you should have beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Right, that's back-to-back weeks, right? You're rolling with the big dogs. So I think Kentucky is a pretty damn good football team, and I think Ole Miss is too, but Ole Miss got to show it. Right? Sooner or later, you have to show it. We hear all the hoopla week in, week out. You scored 1,000 points against Wake Forest and these other teams, but sooner or later, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, we'll see it this weekend. Christian, call in next week after this game.
Know,
all right,
buddy.
man?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Tyler in Florida. Tyler, talk to us.
Fellas, it was bowling shoe ugly, like I said yesterday, but we pulled it out against the Turkeys.
Man, we were watching that one at Chuck's.
Like what me and Blaine talked about, and what I mentioned during the in the off season, what my fear was the defensive backfield, and it came to fruition. Unfortunately, I was hoping they would make a liar out of me, but they didn't.
Well, I'd rather screw up and win than screw up and lose. That's for sure.
It's just
winning's always good.
You keep me watching Miami's defense. It's just y'all. It feels like y'all just keep making the same mistakes.
Well, like it's starting
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is not a phenomenal team on offense.
No,
at all. It seems like y'all just come out and man 80% of the time and get beat by pick plays and get beat by the quarterback outside, and you make no adjustments. Right? You go back to that South Florida game. I thought South Florida beat themselves.
Well, South Florida couldn't throw the ball. They had guys open. They couldn't throw the ball. I think, look, I'm to the point now, and I've got to continue to see it. And I'm telling you, this Cal team, and game day's going there, that Mendoza cat, they got a couple freshmen on the outside, too, that can cook in man coverage.
Oh, yeah.
I love the over in this game, actually. I really do like the over
even after the way Cal and Auburn played each other?
Dude, not even – and Cal and Florida State, too. I know they lost that game, but, like, they got some guys that can make – this Mendoza kid's got some Pavia in them. Like, they're weird, dude. Like, I don't know. And they're only getting healthier. And Jay Knott is an NFL player. So I'm worried. Go ahead.
This is going to be an interesting game, the old commies versus Catholics game.
Well, they said woke versus Coke, but
either way, it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, that's what he said the first time.
Talk about the review or the debacle at the end of the game. I think they got it wrong both times. I don't think it was a catch originally, and there was you can't overturn that. I'm watching it, I'm like, I kind of think that's the ball moving, but it also could be a dude's leg. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the referee's got everything wrong.
Overturn it.
Yeah,
you got everything.
That's what we call the old double negative.
Screw it up.
That's what we call a double negative. I'm just worried about Miami because looking forward, right? Like because Miami, you're talking championship and winning the ACC. That defense, man.
Go back to what you were saying about the winning. You'd rather struggle and win, but could that hurt them? Could they be in like, hey, you know what? We played like crap and won anyway, so we're good.
No,
I
don't think so. I think that's oh my God, we survived. Like we survived that one.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping happened.
I just wonder, what defensively, okay, when do we realize we can't just say we're better than you and lock everybody up in man coverage? Like at some point, and Guidry's a damn good coordinator. I think Shannon Dawson has a chance to win the Broyles Award. But
we're getting Bain back, so
that's going to help. Yeah, it's never bad when Bain shows up, unless you're Batman.
Appreciate it, Tyler. Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
All right, let's go to Tennyson in Texas. Tennyson, talk to us.
Hey, guys. It's been a while. I've been traveling to work. How are y'all?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Good. But I don't want you guys to necessarily talk me off the ledge, but maybe bring me down to earth, because when I look at that schedule, I know I listened to y'all's breakdown of the game yesterday. When I look at the A&M schedule, it's hard not to just salivate at the rest of that schedule outside of Texas. What do you guys think?
I'm talking about for A&M, of course. This is why I'm literally calling this game between A&M and Missouri. It's moving day, right? Like we're going to find out either way. Missouri's either going to be this tier 1 team, and I'm not saying that Texas A&M is the greatest team in the world, or it's like beating Georgia or somebody else right now. We're going to find out.
Struggled against Bowling Green.
Yeah, so did Penn State. But it's one game. It's a week-to-week thing. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like it's a week-to-week thing. There's a body of work, but it's a week-to-week thing. It's about winning the game. But when I look at Missouri, are they going to be this tier 1 team now? And we're like, all right, these guys can do it.
Yeah.
All right, Missouri can officially do it. Or are we going to start saying after this weekend, Texas A&M with Marcel Reed, they are different because he is different. Not that he's an elite, unbelievable player, but he has a different skill set that fits what you guys, that can maximize what you guys do offensively. And with the rest of that schedule, will y'all win this one? It's got to enter the conversation. So I know you're high in the sky right now and you're feeling good in A&M's. A lot of fans are thinking, hey, maybe Wegman getting hurt was, unfortunately, it's the best thing that could happen to us. If he goes through this weekend talking about Marcel, and you guys win this game against Missouri, I'm not ready to sit here and say, hey, let's pencil A&M in the SEC championship. But maybe we got to start talking about moving y'all up into the top of Tier 2 on the brink of Tier 1, seeing if you can do it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot better to have a better back end of the schedule than the front end of the schedule, right, when it comes down to it.
For sure. You know, it's funny. You mentioned Marcel Reed. I talked to some friends of mine who went to A&M, and we debate this back and forth constantly. They're still of the mindset that even if Reed, because I don't know, they said that Connor Weigman's questionable. So let's say for the sake of argument that Reed does play and he does go out and beat Missouri. There are still fans of A&M that say, you know, they want Elko to say, all right, you know what, great, thanks for your service, thanks for the 3 games. We're going to put Weigman back in.
Yeah,
well,
do that. Please do that. Please.
No, well, that's why fans aren't. The coach doesn't listen to fans. Because there's no way in hell that if A&M wins this game, Connor Weigman's coming back in, even after a loss, I think. And it's another part of moving day. If he wins this one, he'll be what, 4-0? And this will be y'all actually winning a big game at home that you haven't done in a while? There's his hands forced. There is no decision right now.
There's no way Mike Elko, if they win this game,
says,
you know what? Let's go back to Connor Weigman.
Let's mix it up.
Score against Notre Dame.
Mix it up.
Yeah, there's no way.
Especially in the portal area where everything's televised and every SEC team or other teams that are in the Power 5 that need a quarterback are going to be like, this kid won 4 games, 3 of them in the SEC, and A&M still put him back on the bench. We're going to go talk to him.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, please do that. I'm an Auburn fan. Please, God, put Marcel Reed at backup so he'll enter the portal. Yeah. Save me, please.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Tennyson.
Thanks, Tennyson.
Thanks, man. Call again soon. All right, let's go to Justin in Greenbrier, Tennessee. Justin, what's up?
Gentlemen, how are y'all today?
Good, Justin, what's up?
So, first time I've ever called, I'll follow y'all on Twitter. I do my very best to be reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine, you have got to stop. You've got to stop. You are giving Auburn fans false hope Saturday morning. I asked you on Twitter, are you drunk? You said they could beat Oklahoma. So the pain is bad enough, but you got to quit giving out.
You don't think I feel this pain, dog? You don't think I feel this pain? Okay, but I still look back at that tweet. I still look back at that tweet and watch that game and don't feel bad about it.
It was 21-10.
Like, we were up 11, dog, in the fourth.
I got a 15-year-old that is trying to become a Tennessee fan, and then he sees people that he respects because he has been listening to y'all's show. I've sent Jake DMs talking about swings and how to help his swing. He's helped me. I appreciate it with all that good stuff. But he said, look, y'all are all crazy. I'm like to be a Tennessee fan. His mama walking around with a T on her shirt. You killing me, Blaine.
Hey, well, look. Like, here's the thing. Like, this is another part of it. Like, when Auburn's been bad for a long time now. We're talking about, like, they haven't been this bad for this long since, like, right after World War II or something. It's like 46-50. You are going to cause a generation of Auburn fans to start evacuating Auburn and adopt. And again, I don't agree with that. I'm here through the thick and thin.
Get them out.
But here's the thing. You can talk about patience. And, hey, we need to have patience and grow. And you're right. But guess what? I don't have patience for you screwing up the clock management. I don't have patience for you looking at that, you know what, Peyton Thorne saying, screw the transfer portal. We're going to keep this guy. Auburn is making stupid decisions. But I do think it's going to be okay. And everybody that's hung around, I think it's going to be fine in the long run. But you're going to have people start jumping ship because that's what people do.
You got to love the pain, brother.
No, hell no.
You got to love the pain.
The only saving grace is NCAA 25 where Peyton Thorne don't throw interceptions. So I just told him to turn it to easy, win a national title, have a good day.
This guy went on. Hey, Justin, let me ask you this. Justin.
Yeah.
Peyton Thorne went on the Next Round Live and said, if he had that throw to do over the pick six 10 times, he'd have made the same decision 10 times. I'd fire your ass for saying
what does that mean?
What does that even mean?
If I didn't have to work for a living, that would have caused me to day drink because it's stupid. It's asinine. There's all kind of different things.
Get this clown out of here, dude.
Hey, just hold on.
Get this clown out of here.
Just hold on. All right? When it's the darkest day, brother, you can look up. The sun's going to come out sooner or later.
Justin's holding on. He's trying to get his son over to the.
Now let him go.
Yeah,
If he wants to go, damn it, let him go. He wants to go be an actor in Hollywood. I'll see you in 2 years.
David, I need y'all's help.
We got you, Justin. We got you, Justin.
I have a younger brother that is a little bit mouthy too. Sometimes Jake put him in his spot. All right, got a kid. Y'all have David. You got kids. Jake, you got one on the way. Tell them the importance. All right. Hey, I appreciate y'all.
Hey, Justin, appreciate it, buddy. Great call.
That was
10 out of
awesome,
10
Justin.
times.
Thank you, man.
No, but honestly, what else could
But that
mean?
11th time,
David,
Jake, that 11th time,
no,
though.
David, like, honestly, this man said in the pick 6 that blew the game, which was an awful decision. Go back and look at it. And he made the same mistake twice. He said out of 10 times, out of 10, he would make the same decision. What does that, honestly, though, what does that mean? Blaine, what does that mean?
Hey, believe.
No, there ain't no more believe. I believe you need to pack your you-know-what and get out of here. That's what I believe.
Believe, dude.
I'm sick of everybody being nice to this guy. And
Don't worry. It's going to get better Saturday.
And they're paying him.
It's going to get better Saturday.
Thank y'all for calling in. We appreciate it. Hey, on the brighter side, the Braves made the playoffs.
The Braves did make the playoffs.
Braves made the playoffs.
Got a 2 out of 3 with the Padres. I'm trying to reverse jinx the Padres tonight, guys.
Are you?
I'll tell you the truth. I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
Are you taking the Padres?
Bets.
Pull
Show
this
them.
up.
Show them.
No.
Show them. Not only am I taking the Padres, David, I'm taking them on the run line at -1.5. That's a dirty +130 for the kids keeping track at home. Then the Mets money line, because why not? Why not? On the money line +120. That's what I like tonight.
Wow, look at you. Every season, I watch the Braves win the NL East, make the playoffs, and the wild card just comes in here and beats them.
Screws it up.
Our turn.
Your turn.
Our turn. Hey, you got to go from Atlanta to San Diego, just no break whatsoever and get right into it. Good. Braves money line +150. That's what it's going to be. And then Orioles money line -148.
What type?
I like that. Corbin Burns on the
What type
mound.
of son do you have to be just to jump ship? You
What?
just jump ship. One sign of fire, you just jump ship. To Tennessee? Show my bets. I bet baseball. I hate doing this. Bring me football every day of my life. Orioles money line is going off at -150 at home. Big trust factor there. And Brewers.
Brew Crew.
The Brew Crew. Slide down that slide, baby. Going off at -146. What does Ace Man have?
Yo, Ace, what do you got? He's riding with you, Brewers, -148. And he's
Ace
Murphy
money.
in the Braves-Padres game at -140. Good, because I'm pitching for the Braves. That's all they got left.
Well, I thought you usually
Hey, they started Kenny Powers yesterday in game 2. Grant Holmes,
Did
you
they?
see him?
No.
He looks just like Kenny Powers.
I thought you were usually a catcher. All right, let's get to these donations. We're going to start off with a $5 donation from Nathan Crain. What up, Nate? Ole Miss is about to learn about Beamer ball. If they hear the sandstorm, it's already too late.
Oh, I've been in there. It's nuts.
Y'all remember they paid that band like $2 million not to play it in the stadium? It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Have you coached in there?
Huh?
Have you coached in there?
Oh, you talking about South Carolina?
No. Oh, I thought you were talking about.
He's talking about South Carolina.
Oh,
You're not talking about Virginia
Sorry,
Tech. Yeah.
Yep.
I can see how it could be confusing.
Oh, yeah.
$2 donation from Tate.
Man.
I tell you what, sometimes.
Sorry, we were trying to get it figured out over here.
I thought you were a catcher.
It was funny. David laughed. $2 donation from Taylor Holland. He says, Billy's last game, Freeze or Norvell, worse right now.
Norvell, it's an absolute dumpster show. Hey, Kay, congratulations.
And they were top 10 preseason.
Yeah, congratulations. Here comes Clemson, and they're pissed.
$10 donation from the Tennessee man. What's up, brother? He says, Tennessee by 50. I don't see the other team scoring more than 14.
I like Tennessee big this weekend. It's good bet. It's good bet.
All right, let's go to the Schrockmaster. He says, Tim Tebow would never coach at Florida. What the hell is this guy talking about?
Look, let the man.
That was
dream.
aggressive.
The boys dream.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Ryan. Appreciate it, Ryan. On March 28th, while previewing opening day, Cone said NL East Braves already got that locked up. Hashtag how wrong were you?
Well, they both made the playoffs. Don't blow it, Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Don't
blow
let
it.
us
Oh,
see
Ryan,
ya.
let the Braves
Don't let us
go
see ya.
farther in the playoffs than the Phillies.
$2 donation from Mr. K. Do y'all post y'all's prize picks anywhere?
Going to start this weekend.
Yep.
You're going to see it on social. Going to start this weekend.
$5 donation from Mr. Man. Say, guys, I don't think Auburn wins another football game. Will this be Hugh Freeze's last year at Auburn?
No, it won't be his last year. It just every game they lose this year means they're going to have to do even better the next year. It's you're digging a hole. Like you're gonna year 3, you better come out swinging.
All right, $5 donation from Daniel Jones's neck brace.
He's back.
Cone, Malik needs someone to throw him the deep ball. Please come through. There's no more hope. God help us all.
Man, Malik Neighbor's so good. So good. Him and Jaden Daniels were on the same team. With
It was
Brian
him,
Thomas
Jane
Jr.
Jane Daniels and Brian Thomas Jr.
These offenses LSU has.
Dude, it's insane.
It's almost just disrespectful how bad your defense was to the game of football.
Yeah, that's tough.
With Derek Stingley Jr., which is crazy. $2 donation from Timmy. Appreciate it, Tim. Florida is hiring Nate Oates, and we already know this. Look, I'm trying to fix somebody's program.
We saw him at Chuck. Listen, y'all want to hear something funny? We walked into Chuck's in Tuscaloosa on Friday night, and Blaine taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, hey, hey, there's Florida's new coach sitting over there. I was like, what? And it's Nate Oates. Literally, like no joke. No joke.
And then Pete Thamel's at the bar.
Then Pete Thamel's
Yeah,
at the
everyone's
bar.
down there. All right, if you donated today, guys, thank y'all so much. Never mind, I'm actually missing some. Let's go to $5 donation from Cuse. Appreciate it, Cuse. Did Kenneth Walker pull off the greatest broken tackle of all time last night for the Seahawks? Did y'all see that?
Yeah,
He's like Jackie Chan, dude. He's like Jackie Chan at running back.
It's like wrestling or something.
It's incredible.
Jiu-jitsu.
$5 donation from the Indy says, this is our Colts. This is our team. Joe Flacco bleeds blue.
Joe Flacco.
Dude, I'm almost pissed at you. I picked y'all to cover, and you ended up winning, but I'm almost pissed y'all are winning after this because that means I'm going to have to hear it again. Like they're going to keep doing it.
All right, if you donated today, guys, thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. Let's get to this poll. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? Yes? Arn?
I'm say yes, 75%.
Yeah, just out of respect for him today, you got to say yes 100%.
Yes, 88%.
Good.
No, 12%.
All right, appreciate everybody in the chat today and watching. You guys are the best. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to our sponsors for today, Game Time and Good Ranchers. Use the promo code BOOSTER on both. One, when you download the Game Time app, and then when you go to goodranchers.com. Go ahead and get that stuff. We appreciate you guys, and like the chances of Pete Rose not being in the Hall of Fame probably next couple weeks, we're going.
Pretty nice.
Gone.